Hi there, everyone. Welcome to this Sunday's edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. We have a wonderful show packaged just for you. More after this message.
When the government must act quickly in an emergency, the public still deserves to know how decisions are made. That is why emergency procurement in Jamaica is governed by strong transparency requirements. Every emergency contract awarded by the government must be published on the Government of Jamaica electronic procurement platform, GoJEP, at gojep.gov.jm. Within 30 days of award, the public can access the Contract Award Notices tab to see who received the contract value, when it was awarded, and why emergency procedures were used. This is where you come in. By using GoJEP, citizens, media, and civil society can review contract award notices, ask informed questions, and hold public entities accountable. Emergency procurement in Jamaica is not hidden. It is published, it is reviewable, and it is open to public scrutiny.
When we think of tourism, we tend to think of sun, sea, and sand. But Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett will tell you that here in Jamaica, anyways, it's much more than that. Hearing him tell it, it's a confluence of experiences put on by varying local industries without whom brand Jamaica would be lacking. As such, the government has been increasing its focus on building out local capacity whilst strengthening linkages throughout the sector. More in this week's Get the Facts.
Welcome to Get the Facts, the show that gives you information on what you need to know. Tourism is one of Jamaica's most important industries. It brings in revenue, it creates jobs, it supports communities across the island. But tourism isn't just about hotels or beaches. For Jamaica, it's also about how the benefits of tourism reach everyday Jamaicans, from small businesses to artisans, tour guides, and local vendors. Now, joining me to talk about how government is supporting tourism by building local capacity and strengthening linkages is Dr. Carey Wallace, Executive Director of the Tourism Enhancement Fund. Dr. Wallace, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All right, let's jump right into getting the facts.
Sure.
Let's start with the basics. What's the mandate of the Tourism Enhancement Fund?
So the TEF's mandate, we were formed 20 years ago, and our mandate was to collect from passengers coming to Jamaica, cruise passengers or airline passengers,
right,
and that would go into a fund that we would then use to invest in projects that enhance Jamaica as a destination. So it would mean infrastructural projects, it would mean human capacity development projects, it would mean projects that improve the efficiencies, the logistics, the access. We had a tourism master plan at the time, and so it was set out all the activities that were required to take us to that improved level of having a destination that keeps growing year after year and is sustainable and so on. So we had worked along with that sustainable master plan, but since then we've continued to just have that mandate of every year ensuring that destination Jamaica gets better, more attractive, easier for visitors to maneuver,
right,
as well as for more of our local offerings to be presented to the tourists that come here.
More of our local offerings. Going to underline that in a second. But you mentioned the projects. How do you decide? Like, is it a submissions process, or is it you do an assessment of the tourism-centric areas? And
it's a combination. For the most part, we have kind of a directive from the Ministry of the Policy Direction. In fact, what we're focused on now is local first.
right.
And so that would give us an idea of the types of strategies, which then create the types of activities and objectives and so on that we would set, and which then translate into actual projects that we will then get done throughout the year. So our board would be cognizant of the policy directives. And so we would create a lot of projects ourselves for that execution. However, if other entities have projects that match that mandate and match that policy directive, it's something that the applications can come to our board, and our board will consider, and they will provide support for them to get that done, because it matches the policy directive that we have.
Got it.
And that way we get more done, instead of projects only being able to be executed by ourselves type of thing. That would kind of not give us a wide scale of project execution that we now get when we have other agencies executing projects on our behalf.
So what you're describing is not just what the TEF does, but what the TEF supports others to do.
Precisely. So for instance, one of the areas we want to develop is our festival offerings, because we believe that they're outstanding. It's not just coming to Jamaica to have a Lost in Time festival that just occurred, right? Right. We supported at the start of getting that festival up and operating in the first year that they started, because it was novel, but we felt that it was an important gem in our crown of jewels here in Jamaica, that we need to create more of those, because it then makes an opportunity for visitors to choose Jamaica, because you have an outstanding festival like this. The same with Carnival in Jamaica. We support as well to make sure the coordination of it, and so that it continues to expand. And over 60% of the revelers in Carnival are now visitors from overseas. So, here you have Paradise, Jamaica. And so when you now have events in Paradise, it's more reason for persons to get on a plane and come here. So therefore, we look at supporting, we supported the Rum Festival and so on as well too. I mean, think about it, those are things that we have very well here in Jamaica. They're outstanding. They win awards every year. The whole idea is assessing the landscape of what we have that's working extremely well for us, and then helping to build that out, polish that out, present that, so that it becomes an international spectacle, it attracts international audiences to choose to come to Jamaica for that experience.
Okay. So in listening to your comments about the support and the building up capacity, bringing people from abroad, it might sound as if this support that the TF does only applies to the big players.
Far from. We do so many projects, and the whole idea is to create wealth in all of Jamaica from tourism.
So local communities, talk me through that.
Local communities.
Support.
So we do activations that assist in getting suppliers to supply tourism, so local suppliers. So we do speed networking, for instance, where we bring all the local manufacturers and so on into the convention center, and we allow them to meet with the purchasing managers of all the hotels and attractions and so on, so that it provides that medium for connection, for exchange of the products that are available in Jamaica. Contracts are then signed and so on the spot, and so we get that type of flow of the tourism dollar into the communities all across Jamaica. We do events like Christmas in July, which is a linkages event where we have all the outstanding artisans have an opportunity to present their outstanding products in July to the hotels and to corporate Jamaica, so that orders can be placed for the season or for Christmas.
Okay.
So you see the talent and the outstanding products in July. And the problem in the past is if you then display them and then they get a big 2,000 order from a hotel, they can't meet the capacity, so it frustrates the process because they can't deliver in time and so on. When we have them showcase in July for the Christmas order, what means the Christmas delivery, that means it gives them way enough time for them to build out the capacity to be able to supply, and then it lifts them up from a small sample operator to where they get to an ample operator and can scale up.
I have to jump in here because we're going to go to our break, but essentially what you have said for the local community is creating the linkages, creating the relationships, and giving them the runway.
Exactly, and also...
But hold on thought. We are going to take a break now, and when we return, we explore initiatives for skills development, youth participation, and I have to insert here, resilience. Stay with us.
Jamaica Post is committed to being your preferred logistics partner. Enjoy the convenience of 3 to 5 days for international shipments at competitive rates and next business day delivery for local packages. Take advantage of our fast, reliable and ever-evolving services: zip mail, click and ship, fast track, EMS, parcel service, registered mail, corporate mail service and private letterbox. Access customer service support and track packages online. Visit our post offices island-wide and premium service centers at select locations. For more information, go to jamaicapost.gov.jm. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to Get the Facts. We're continuing our discussion on building local capacity, strengthening linkages within the tourism industry. And we're having that conversation with Dr. Kerry Wallace, Executive Director of the Tourism Enhancement Fund. Dr. Wallace, let's pick up from where we were. You mentioned the linkages that you make for the local community. So not just the bigwigs that are benefiting from the fund, right? And as you mentioned linkages, it occurred to me, when you were discussing Christmas in July, that there's also room for training the local community to get better and better at taking advantage of the opportunities that you expose them to.
Sure. I mean, we have training programs. We have certification programs where we certify our local talent. And these certifications, they are international. So they get the qualification that can be used anywhere.
Right.
We also provide, even from high school levels, we have a hospitality and tourism management program that we fund to ensure that we are creating cohorts of young Jamaicans that are entering the tourism space with proficiency as they traverse from high school into the working world.
How does a young person access that?
So we have it in 23 high schools now across Jamaica, and we are expanding each year. So they will be notified in their high schools. We also have even innovation programs where we have a tourism incubator, which just allows anybody with an idea, and we put them through a lean canvas program where that idea is translated into a commercial product or service of commercial value, to again provide an opportunity to really lift Jamaicans into the space of being big players in the tourism space. This is a great opportunity now in 2026, where we have all the leverage from technology, from access to information, from social media. I mean, today, the average Jamaican who lives on a hillside, next to a waterfall or a blue hole or something, they can get content from their phones to the eyes of somebody sitting in Berlin or Minneapolis today.
Right, and if TF helps them with legitimacy and infrastructure building,
exactly,
they're a product.
One of our big projects is roads to attractions, for instance. So we happen to be blessed with all these outstanding waterfalls and outstanding blue holes and mineral spas and so many things dotted across Jamaica. And in a lot of cases, to get them to become a tourism attraction, it's just to get the access from the hotels, the access from the wherever they're staying, to get to those locations. And that's one of the big projects that we do every year, where we rehabilitate roads that ensure the access, all those coaches, those buses and so on. It's an easy traverse for them to get to those locations. We've done, just this year alone past, we've done Roaring River, we've done Good Hope, we've done Island Gully Falls. So it's one of the big projects that we do. That the whole idea is to open up those tourism attractions to make the entire community be lifted to be able to benefit from and earn from a tourism dollar.
Access. Now, tourism can be seasonal. Or is seasonal? Which one is correct? Can or is?
Our minister, it's, in fact, he just won an award as the #1 minister in the world. Yes, but he's so hardworking, and one of the things that he had set out early to do is to ensure that the seasonality is over with, meaning it's right throughout the year. You target different markets that have winters, different times of the year and stuff. So right now it's a big push to the South American market, which is growing, to ensure that visitors are coming all the time. But the other things that we are doing is to ensure that we build out what you call the passion areas of visitors, meaning you want them to travel beyond just for where it's warm, for the sunshine, you know. So
there's something to come and see here.
Exactly, and the good thing is that Jamaica happens to be blessed with so many of these offerings. I mean, our gastronomy, for instance, we take it for granted that okay, our food is nice and so on. It's only when we try to live abroad for a while we realize it's not only nice, it's outstanding.
It's special.
So as we build that out with our gastronomy network, one of our linkages networks, it then presents Jamaica as an attractive culinary destination. So a person who only travels the world, what they call a foodie, only travels the world for food experiences, they will now choose Jamaica as well. In fact, we advanced the level now where we won the culinary destination of the year for the Caribbean, having advanced up that ladder, and we expect to get to where we're close to the top of the world. I mean, there are many destinations that don't have sunshine like us, you know, but they get millions of visitors because of their gastronomy offerings.
I want to jump in here though. So in essence, you're saying that we are patching out off season.
Right.
We don't believe in off season in Jamaica.
Don't believe in
anymore.
off season anymore.
But I have to ask as well. There are other things apart from seasons that impact tourism. There can be crises in different places that hamper people's ability to travel.
Right.
How does TEF support local communities if no one is coming at a time?
Understood, and we've had 2 or 3 experiences more recently where. And I think if you look at the graph of our growth of tourism arrivals over the year, the only time when it's when you see where it doesn't grow is when there is some kind of pandemic or some situation like that.
Right.
No, and hence our minister in his brilliance launched a Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center, because it's not just a Jamaica problem, it's just a tourism problem globally, where whenever there are any shocks to the planet. But if we become more resilient, what will happen then is that we will end up being less affected whenever you have these shocks. We'll be able to bounce back faster. We'll be able to mitigate the damage. We'll be able to really collaborate and hone our approach, because so much of what happens when you have these kind of instances is not just the actual damage, the hurricane or whatever. It's the lack of coordination after. It's the fake news. So many things can hamper the recovery. And so when you have a very coordinated effort, which thankfully we've built that out over the years, you know, I mean, just even our current program of recovery for tourism workers, what we call the THAR program, Tourism Housing Assistance and Recovery Program. We have a very robust online platform that allows applicants to apply online, and then we have the vetting of the applicants, and then we have the partnerships with the hardware stores that are delivering the actual building kits to the beneficiaries to get them done very quickly. And you know, it's a very robust system that we can almost share across the world as best practice for when these things happen. So the idea is we recognize that yes, tourism is vulnerable.
Can be shocked.
And can be shocked, but the idea is if we can rebound fast, so then hey, you know, we just brush off and get back up and move on.
So it's speed. Doc, I cannot ask you every question I want to ask you, but here we're in the final few seconds of the interview. Is there anything you'd like to share directly with those who are watching?
Yes, I believe that now as we are with all the opportunities that we have today in Jamaica, one of the most beautiful islands on the planet. We're the 3rd largest English-speaking country in the Americas. We have phenomenal potential as our peace rate increases. That also helps us phenomenally and provides an opportunity for everybody to become wealthy from tourism. So with the phones in your pockets, become a tourism ambassador from Jamaica to the world. Make sure your content that goes out is always making Jamaica look good, showing the good things about Jamaica. And that will translate into more and more people coming to experience this paradise that we have here. And in so doing, bring tourism dollars into your communities and hopefully your hands. So everybody can participate.
And with that, we will close. We thank our guest, Dr. Kerry Wallace, Executive Director of the Tourism Enhancement Fund, for joining us. We thank you, our viewers, for joining us as well, and I do hope this has been an enlightening episode for you. I'm Theodore Henry. This has been Get the Facts. See you next Sunday for another riveting program. Do take care.
Hey there, I'm Landy, your friendly guide to NLA Connect, the National Land Agency's customer engagement platform. Today we'll be navigating our page with some frequently asked questions.
Hey Landy, what's NLA Connect?
Hey there. NLA Connect is a simple, user-friendly online platform that's available 24/7 to customers, where they can submit various requests about land-related matters.
Hi Landy, how do I submit a request to NLA Connect?
Hi customer. Once on the platform, click Request and fill out the form with your details. Choose the relevant division and select the type of request. Pick your preferred response method, review, and consent to the privacy notice. Then submit. You will receive a case number to track your request.
Tell me something, Landy. Can you submit more than one request at a time?
No, you can only submit one request type at a time. Once that case is closed, feel free to send in another.
Landy, am I able to track my request?
Yes. To track your request status, click the Status tab, enter your email or case number, verify with the code sent to your email, and then view updates ranging from submitted to closed.
How does the NLA treat my data?
Our privacy policy is in accordance with the Data Protection Act 2020. As a result, some of the technical measures used to protect your data includes firewalls, encryptions, and regular system updates. Also, our employees are only provided with your information on a need-to-know basis. Still have questions? Visit www.nla.gov.jm. Go to Applications, select NLA Connect, and check out our FAQs tab for more information. NLA Connect, your voice, our priority.
Jamaica proudly joins the world today, March 15, 2026, to celebrate World Consumer Rights Day under the theme Safe Products, Confident Consumers. Here in Jamaica, the message carries even greater meaning as we continue to build in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. In time of recovery after a national disaster, consumers depend on safe building materials, reliable appliances, secure food supplies, and trustworthy services. The government of Jamaica remains committed to ensuring that all Jamaicans have access to products that meet the highest safety standards. As the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Jamaica's business ministry, we encourage, support, and facilitate businesses to consistently deliver safe products and services through compliance with the regulatory processes and best practices. This means fewer consumers are harmed, fewer families lose money, and Jamaica's standards remain strong. Through the Consumer Affairs Commission, one of 20 agencies in the ministry, we're steadfast in protecting Jamaican consumers every day. From April to December 2025, the Consumer Affairs Commission settled more than 700 cases and delivered over 24 million in refunds and compensation back into the hands of Jamaicans. Every Jamaican and investor can have confidence in Jamaica's marketplace. When complaints are resolved and compensation dispersed, people know their rights are protected. Businesses that follow the rules earn trust, and the market becomes stronger, fairer, and more reliable. I encourage all Jamaican business owners and consumers to stay informed, exercise your rights, follow best practices, and help to remove unfair players and unsafe products from our markets. Together, we can build a stronger, safer, and more resilient Jamaica. So, happy World Consumer Rights Day, Jamaica.
You may be aware of this Garvey quote: "A people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots," alluding to the matter of humans not having a flourishing future without the understanding of where they are coming from to keep them grounded. It was Garvey who also said, "Intelligence rules the world, ignorance carries the burden." In this day of information, knowledge is all around us. Easily with internet access, we carry around a library with us. We need only to search and search ardently. Look deeply into reliable sources. Then we must free ourselves of any ignorant beliefs we may have previously held. The great orator also said, "The pen is mightier than the sword, but the tongue is mightier than them both put together." Educating oneself on a matter increases one's knowledge. With that, one's chances of making informed decisions and acting with prudence grows. The phrase "knowledge is power" is not one to be taken lightly, but to be taken with deep thought and to be acted upon fiercely while understanding the power of knowing. To bring it full circle, we take a quote from another tremendous leader, Kofi Annan, who reiterated the sentiment, "Knowledge is power," and said that information is liberating. Education is the premise of progress in every society, in every family. That's it for this week's Sunday Afternoon Detox. See you next time.
We've come to the end of today's show. I do hope that you enjoyed this package. To catch a repeat of this or any other, feel free to log on to our website at jis.gov.jm. Until next time, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.